What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new rebuild, and today we're currently going to rebuild Liverpool, obviously sat in 8th in the Premier League, not enjoying a great season at all, and today we are going to go ahead and try and recover their previous success inside of FM. So let's go over, talk what our plans are, and if you are enjoying the rebuilds on this channel, please do leave a like, subscribe, and comment right now what rebuilds you wish to see in the future. Now let's get into it. So, this is going to be Liverpool then, obviously a team with very rich, we know who they are, we know who Liverpool are, very rich history. You can see 6 Champions League, 19 Premier League titles, 1 Club World Cup Championship, 8 FA Cups, 4 UEFA Super Cups, 3 Europa Leagues, Championships, Carabao Cups, Community Shields. They have won it all. A real piece of history as a football club. As much as it pains me to say that as a United fan, but you know what? An incredible team, incredible facilities, absolutely everything. This season, they're not having the best time. Let's be real. But in this game, I'm confident we can turn this around. And the way we're going to turn it around is to get rid of some of these players that are going to be going on the free by either selling them early, getting a little bit of money for them, or just trying to bring in some young players, in particular the midfield, because I believe that is the one area that Liverpool are lacking in massively. Their midfield is really not good. It's very aging. There's a lot of injuries. It's not the best quality as well. And I do feel like that is going to be the main focus. Now, I've actually gone ahead into the future, and we have done the first transfer window, and we have signed some players, we've sold some players, and we're going to talk about that very shortly. And when I say very shortly, I actually mean now. So let's go over to the transfers and have a look at exactly who I brought in now. I want to take into account, when I first started, I didn't have a lot to play with in terms of money, but what we've done a little bit of business, as you're going to see here right now. So this is going to be the 2 players which we did actually sell ourselves. That is going to be Roberto Firmino, goes to Chelsea for £33.5 million. Obviously a player that is going to be leaving for free practically, which, you know, is not good for Liverpool at all. There's a lot of players like that. And also Naby Keita, a player who finds himself injured quite a lot of the time, goes to Manchester City for £48 million, which raised enough funding for us to bring in none other than Jude Bellingham, the talisman for this team, the player who I feel is going to be the reason we can rebuild Liverpool, the man we're going to build everything around. And if they could get him in real life, I think it would be the same story. But I just can't see it happening, especially if they don't get Champions League football. But Jude Bellingham is going to be the man to build the team around. And what I'm going to say right now is it's already looking a little bit healthier. The tactics is going to be this one. We're literally using the default 4-2-3-1. And I feel like this is going to be a real good sort of lineup. Alisson, Trent, Matip, Van Dijk, Robertson, Bellingham, Thiago, Salah, Gakpo, Diaz, and Jota. An incredible team. In my opinion, Nunes is going to be playing. I'm going to make sure he does play because I'm actually a really big fan of Nunes. A lot of people don't rate him, and I think it's a really big agenda because he's actually played quite well. In FM, he's absolutely brilliant. Obviously, he's on a contract until 2027. Currently, only 23 years of age as well, so quite a fairly young striker. He's rapid. Great finishing, good aggression, good determination, practically everything you'd want in a striker. Now, some of the players that we are keeping a very close eye on, who obviously have got contracts that possibly are coming up quite shortly. Mo Salah, I've got to be careful on. We do not want him going out on the free, obviously, because that would be an absolute disaster. Thiago's another one. Van Dijk, do we keep him? Do we sell him? Depends on the performances. He's obviously getting older. He's not exactly playing well in real life. There's a lot of questions. Jordan Henderson, obviously James Milner. We tried to offload him, we couldn't. Oxlade-Chamberlain, the same story there. I've got no plans to renew Arta's contract either, or sort of, you know, get him from the loan option. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting season. So let's go over now into the first season and see exactly how well we done. Well, the first season has been done, and let's just say it's gone slightly better than what I thought. As you can see, we are actually Premier League champions by drawing 7 games, which very rarely happens, but we'll take it. We not only won that, we also won the Champions League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, making it is going to be a quadruple winning season in the first season. Now, I want to see how well Bellingham has played by the match rating, which we will do, but let's talk a little bit about the goals scored. 125 alone in the Premier League, only conceding 31, did pick up a fair few bookings, but it is going to be Starman Darwin Nunes coming in, dropping an absolute masterclass. I mean, he has improved significantly. 46 appearances, 73 goals, and 9 assists, dropping a 7.95 match rating. A player who I actually hyped up in the intro. I know he'd be a good player, and he's proven it a lot. And obviously Mo Salah as well, having quite a good season. 55 appearances, 32 goals, 25 assists. I mean, some real standout players here, being real with you. And it's just a great season. I'm actually a bit mind blown. In terms of the actual squad, we are going to have a little look. So you can see the goals right now. We're going to have Darwin Núñez coming in with 73. We're also going to have Salah with 32, Gakpo with 22, 20 for Carvalho. Carvalho, a player I did not discuss enough. I plan to try and develop this guy as much as I can because I'm a big fan of him. Diego Jota with 19, 14 for Diaz. Jude Bellingham actually having a fairly average season, to be honest with you. 5 goals, 9 assists, a 7 match rating. It could have been better. It could have been better. He did play a ton of games, though. 61 games. I mean, he was a busy boy in the midfield. But overall, quite a few high goal scorers nevertheless. Sort of this point onwards, 14, 19, 20. You know, it's fairly decent. Who's the assisters then? Mo Salah, Gakpo, Diaz, Carvalho, Jota, Elliot Robertson. I'm coming in with 10. 9 for Núñez. Bellingham with 9, obviously. Fabinho with 6. It is a really, really impressive one. What about the schedule? What are we saying? Oh, there is a fair bit of... Oh, my days. What a season. We only lost the Community Shield and we only... Where's the other one? The Community Shield and against Chelsea. Every other result was a draw or a win. That is absolutely incredible. How was this Champions League final? How was it? What are we sort of saying then? Yeah, we definitely deserved the winner. I mean, the XG we dominated the shots on target. We played, you can see the lineups here. That PSG team's incredible. Wow, that is incredible. But as you can see, actually Harvey Elliott starts. Carvalho, Núñez, Salah, Bellingham, Thiago, Fabinho at right back. Obviously gets ahead of Trent. Canate, Van Dijk, Robertson, and Alisson. So a very impressive first season. I'm dead chuffed with that. So hopefully we can improve a little bit of money, but that all depends on how much money we got. So let's go and see what the finances were looking like. But the finances are looking pretty decent. £116 million to spend. We're going to try and strengthen as much as we can. Possibly also sell a couple of players that are getting older and have got a very short time remaining on their contracts. I do want to quickly take a second to say, if you do like the rebuilds on this channel, please drop a like right now and subscribe to the channel. It means a lot. We're trying to push for 10k before the end of the year. But let's go into Season 2 and see exactly who we can bring in. Well, we're going to talk about the first page first, and we're going to talk about some of the outgoings. It's going to be Nathan Phillips going on loan to Bournemouth, Joe Gomez going to West Ham for £33.5 million, and Bobby Clark going to Crystal Palace for $375,000. Now, Joe Gomez is a decent player, but for me, he wasn't really going anywhere. He's 26 years old. His actual ability wasn't the best, and I just feel like there was better options on the market, which we definitely did. We definitely did strengthen, as you're going to see right now. So we're actually going to kick things off with Upamecano from Bayern Munich for £75 million. A lot better than Joe Gomez. Also a couple of years younger. Fantastic attributes, really quick. 17 tackling, by the way. Great passing, very helpful in this system. And you know what? He's really the perfect fit for this team. And to partner that, we also go and pick up a previous Leipzig player. We got a previous Leipzig player. We then get another Leipzig player, which is going to be Gvardiol for £39 million. Again, not probably grown as well as he can do in this save, but still a very good option. Obviously, this is going to be more of the backup option to go alongside of, it is going to be Fabinho, who can also play there as backup. But this guy is a fantastic option to have on the bench, and also potentially he can start games as well. Great tackling, very quick with 17 pace, good natural fitness, good aggression, good bravery, great determination, and fantastic work rate. So overall, a really good complete option, and definitely strengthens that back line a little bit better than what Joe Gomez used to offer. Now, we also sold Joel Matip, hence why we brought in 2 new centre-backs and not just one. We also get let go of Adrian, who goes to Cadiz on the free. Rourke goes to York on the free, and Gordon goes to Newcastle on the free. And we also bring in Núñez. We needed a sort of shadow striker role, someone who can step up for the big games, who could also play a bit deeper if needed as well. And this is a player which I've not signed on FM, and he was scouted to me, and I was really impressed by him. £70 million, by the way. I will say it's a fair chunk of change. His actual attributes, if you're looking at the stars, might not look incredible, but what is incredible is how well balanced this guy is. He's got some standout stats, obviously being his passing, his technique, his work rate, teamwork, determination, concentration, bravery, natural fitness, and also stamina. So everything you'd like in the sort of hard worker midfielder. A player which hacks the press. He can easily play a high pressing style without killing himself, basically. You know, it's a lot better having someone like this in the team. He can play shadow striker very comfortably. He can also play deeper areas, which is exactly what we wanted. A player that can play pretty much every single midfield role on the field. So a must buy, in my opinion. And now the team looks absolutely incredible. It's going to be Alisson. Fabinho actually starts. This is filtered by the best 11, by the way. Upamecano, Van Dijk, Robertson, Bellingham, Thiago, Salah, Carvalho, Diaz, Nunes obviously starts up top. We then go to the bench and we're slowly introducing younger players onto the bench to set Liverpool for a better future. Kelleher, Trent, Harvey Elliott, Jota, Konate, Henderson, Gakpo, Gvardiol, Nunes, Chamberlain, Milner, Trimiskas, and Ario. So again, a few young players on that bench. Still a couple of players which I'm going to try and move on. But an incredible team. Let's see what we can accomplish in Season 2. So, Season 2 has been played, and it's a decent season. We didn't win as much. We did win the Premier League, though, again, with 7 draws. I don't know what that malarkey's about. That's back-to-back seasons with 7 draws. It's going to be Nunes being a top goal scorer again, by the way, with 54 goals. Harvey Elliott and Luis Diaz with the most assists, which is quite good. Harvey Elliott, obviously a player who has got tons of potential, and I plan to keep for as long as I can, and try and get him involved in the setup as much as I can as well. A he's a really good talent, let's just say that. I don't want to hype up the Liverpool players too much. Not too much credit for the Liverpool players. But anyway, runners-up in the Champions League, Super Cup winners, Premier League winners, and Community Shield winners. Not as good in the English trophies. The FA Cup, we actually lost to Man City and Aston Villa in the semi-finals, which in my opinion is the one shock result. That is not good enough. Going over to what is going to be the squad screen, we are going to go by the goals. We do love the goals in this system. 54 goals from Nunes. Carvalho having a great season. 19 for Salah, a bit of a quiet one for him by his standards. Jota with 13, 13 for Gakpo, Diaz with 7. The assisters, we've got 18 from Diaz, Elliott with 18, 15 for Bellingham, a little bit of a better season, especially with the assists coming in. We have Salah with 14, 9 for Gakpo, Carvalho with 9. We're going to have Jota coming in with 7, Trent with 7. So again, a nice mixture of players getting involved. And I am keen to see the schedule. How did it look? There's definitely a lot more reds on it. We actually lost the Champions League final on penalties. That is always a killer. That is always a killer. You know what? It's a game we deserve to win. I mean, 51% possession. We had the possession in our favour. We had the XG in our favour. It's a bit of a killer. I guarantee what happened here is we did take the lead, obviously inside. No, we didn't. Actually, they took the lead. We equalised in the 63rd minute, and we just didn't have enough to kill the game. What a shame, though. That would have been a great season. They actually lined up very similar to us as well. In fact, it is basically the same. Same formation, just different roles. De Gea, Dalot, Varane, Martinez, Shaw, Casemiro, Gamulion, Sancho, Fernandes, Rashford, and Dybala. So a very, very good team. A little bit gutted, though, we didn't win that. Obviously, a 1-0 loss here to Napoli, which we did come back here, to be fair. Any other shock results? 2-0 against Villa here. And we lost to Villa here. We lost to Villa twice in the same month. That is not good. That is not good to see. Great win here against Celtic, 7-0. Absolute thumping. 7-1 against Hull. That's got to be expected. Overall, it's a decent season, but definitely room for improvement. And luckily for us, we've got £130 million to spend to go into the 3rd season. And I'm going to try and strengthen again because I feel like we're at a crucial point in the season now. The 1st season was flawless. We're not going to be able to keep that pace up for the whole season, or the whole save, sorry. So now we've got to try and carry on with the image on our head, which is to focus on bringing in talent, whether that be instant results or whether it be instant results over the future. Players like Arda Güler is a player I really want to bring in. Can I do it? Probably. We've got the finances to do it. As long as he hasn't moved already, we're going to try and get Güler in. Ideally, I would try to. I want to get Pedri in. I've dreamt of a midfield of Bellingham and Pedri. I don't think it's going to be possible, but we are going to try and do it. So let's get into the 3rd transfer window and see what we can do. The 3rd transfer window is going to be a bit of a talk because it's one of the most dramatic windows I think I've ever had on FM. It was absolutely incredible. And we are going to take time to talk about each individual player, but there's 2 pages to show you. And we're going to focus on the outgoings first. And that is going to be Virgil van Dijk goes to PSG for £21.5 million. He did not want a new contract. He wanted to leave on the free. So I took what I could get for him then and then. We also have Comas goes to West Ham, and also Kanaya goes to Bournemouth. But this is where it's going to get interesting, because it is going to be a very, very, very big name. Again, a player who would not accept a contract. Mo Salah goes to Barcelona for £68 million. Tsimikas joins him over in Napoli, though, for £34.5 million. Nathan Phillip goes to Bournemouth for £11.2 million. So we generated a lot of income. we generated nearly £150 million. On top of the budget we had a lot of cash to play with. And as you can see, we brought in Arda Güler for Fenerbahce for 8.7 million, a player who has got tons and tons of potential. I actually agreed to loan him back to Fenerbahce because he isn't going to play right away, and I felt like he was developing really nicely in Turkey. So I wanted him to carry on developing, and we can obviously get him when he's at his prime or in that sort of mindset of, you know, ready to play in the Premier League. Still, though, a fantastic player. And what a price, by the way. A sensational, only 8.7 million. Then go over to Bayer Leverkusen for a backup right back, and that is going to be Jeremy Frimpong, a player which obviously Manchester United are linked to in real life. Let me know in the comments, would you take him at United? But on this game, I'm actually a big fan. I'm going to be honest, the stand-up ones are his pace, acceleration. Obviously, his tackling's okay, not the best of the best, but you can train this to obviously make it a little bit more improved. But a fantastic backup option, only 23 years of age. For me, it was an absolute no-brainer. We then obviously go across to partner that, and we go to Real Madrid, and this is where the big bucks were spent. £128 million to bring in someone who I feel who can replace Salah. He's got very similar stats, and he's also a lot younger. This guy is absolutely incredible on this save. He's got 17 finishing for a winger. 17 finishing. He can play on the left, on the right. He's 23 years of age, great pace, good agility, great balance on him as well, decent fitness, great flair, great off-the-ball work. And again, you're paying for the age. The guy's 23. You've got a winger for 10 plus years, and we were in a bit of a sticky situation when Salah left. We needed a world-class winger. World-class wingers cost a lot of money, and obviously this guy did set us back a lot of money, but he's valued typically a lot more than what we paid for him now, so that's quite a good thing. But he's just a really good player to have in the team. But we didn't stop signing players because we had money to play with, and I thought, when we've got the money to play with, why not strengthen it? And that's exactly what we've done. We brought in Aitan Nori to replace Tomiskas, obviously in the left back role. Again, a player 23 years of age, decent attributes, to be fair. Good acceleration, good pace, fantastic tackling, but a player that we are definitely looking for the future in. And it's just good to have him in here because having a fullback that can also grow as a backup player is really good. He's too good to loan out, so he will be in the first team playing sort of the cup games, etc, etc. But in my opinion, a great signing. Then go over and poach another Leipzig player, which is going to be Tap Zoba. Obviously, we did have another centre-back leave, so I thought, you know what? We'll bring in another one. £26.5 million. Again, a very good backup option. Nothing ridiculously special, but just a player that I'm very fond of on FM. Not really too much to talk about with that guy. Again, only 25 years of age. We then go over to Sassuolo, 10.2 million, and we pick up Maximine Lopez, a great deep line playmaker. This was really a signing just to add depth to midfield. We spent a lot of money already, didn't have a lot of money to play with. This guy was one of the players that was actually listed for sale, and I just thought, do you know what? He's got everything I really want. Nice, simple, just a player which sits deep, pings the ball about, passing 16, good technique, good teamwork, good vision, good agility, good balance, decent fitness on him. He'll do a job. And to be fair, he's a little bit older, obviously, at 26, but he'll do a job in that midfield, even if it is purely for backup. And then the last sign-in for £27 million, looking for the future again, is going to be João Veloso from Benfica. Currently, he's not the best in terms of the attributes, but he has got tons of potential. And I am tempted to send him out on loan just for a couple of seasons. He's only 19. He can come back to the Premier League when he's 21, 22. I feel like he'll be a very good sort of level to play in the Premier League. But I'm making some smart signings now. Arda Güler, obviously partnered alongside of Veloso. We are bringing in some really, really, really top talent. And the team is looking really impressive now as well. Alisson, Trent, Canate, Upamecano, Robertson, Bellingham. Nunes actually goes in the deep line playmaker. Rodrigo, Carvalho, Diaz, Nunes. Kelleher on the bench, Fabinho, Thiago, Jota, Gvardiol, Elliott, Gakpo, Frimpong, Lopez, Nori, Henderson, Ario, Tapsoba. The team is looking absolutely incredible, and the age is coming down as well, which obviously is the main thing about this Liverpool team. So let's go over now to the end of the third season, and hopefully we can bring home at least one of them English trophies. Well, season 3, I'm going to be honest, lads, it's not gone great. It's not gone great. Now, I've actually thought about this, and I sort of understand why. We brought in a lot of players, and players need time to gel. We were going to have a window like this because this was needed. A window of where we just bring in lots of young players and let them develop. And this is going to be the season where we didn't really do that well. And that is, I'm saying that as we do win a Premier League title, drawing 4, only losing 6. And we also won the Community Shield, but in terms of the Champions League, the FA Cup, and the Carabao Cup, it's really not a great display. But at least we maintain the Premier League. That's obviously the main focus. Darwin Núñez's goals has finally dried up. Are we going to have to get a new striker? I'm not sure. We are going to look at Darwin, see what happened, because he was absolutely on fire. Still maintained and a very good goal scoring ratio. 106 goals scored, only 28 conceded. Carvalho getting the highest match rating. That is something we do love to see. Harvey Elliott with the most assists, which again, something we do love to see. He's actually developing it into some player right now. His value is absolutely nuts. 83 to 93 million pounds. Sensational attributes on him. Really such a baller. I mean, he can play on the left. He can play a bit of a deeper midfielder. He can also, he can play on the right. He can play on the left. Deeper midfield. He can really do it all. But I'm worried. I am worried about Núñez because he has dropped off. He's dropped off. He was obviously going up in terms of the attributes, but he has not enjoyed a great season. I mean, when I say that, he's obviously played 22. He's scored 33, but what he was doing previously was absolutely ridiculous. Something must have happened. I'm not entirely sure what has happened, but it's not great. I mean, we can see the story here. He's either not getting played or he's picking up an injury. I mean, there's 38 games in the Premier League. He's played 16. A player that was scoring 50, 70 goals. I mean, you've got to play him as many games as you can. So not a great season for him, but it is what it is. We were bound to have one. In terms of the actual, let's go over the squad. We will see what happened then. So we have 33 goals for Núñez, 22 for Jota. Rodrigo had quite a good first season. Gakpo with 20, 18 for Carvalho. Diaz with 8, 7 for Elliott. Núñez with 4. The assists, we've got 25 for Elliott, 15 for Jota. Bellingham with 13. 12 for Diaz, Carvalho with 11, 10 for Rodrigo, and Gakpo with 9, and some other sort of lower stats here. I'm going to be real with you boys. I want to see a lot more out of Bellingham. I want to see definitely a bounce back from Núñez, depending on if we have got enough money to bring in someone else. But I do want to see a big season from Bellingham because he had a decent season previously, but it's not really stood out massively. He's not really doing as much as what I thought he would do, but hopefully he can be sort of a talisman and develop into it. And he's playing okay. Maybe I'm being a little bit too critical. But I just would expect him possibly a few more assists. But I guess it's not really brought in to do that. So maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh on the lad. But overall, a very, very good season. In terms of the schedule, we are going to have a little look. There's going to be a lot of negatives in here, I can already tell. An 8-0 win, by the way, against Southampton. We absolutely battered Man City in the Community Shield. Did they play a rotation team? No. 5 at the back, though. 5 at the back. Have they still got Pep? Diego Simone. Of course, Pep would not roll out with that sort of negative system. 3-0 loss to Arsenal. Oh, dearie me. Definitely some results I wish to tweak in this one. Let's just say that. So there's a lot of work to do going into what is going to be the 4th transfer window. A lot of work is going to be needed. And we've got £150 million to spend. Well, Season 4 has been completed and I didn't want to go crazy. I didn't even want to spend the full amount of money we had because we have spent a fair bit of money. And I felt like adding too many new faces would be a bad thing. But what I did do is add Rafael Leao, a player who was after, I mean, there was like 6 clubs that wanted him. We did have to pay him a ridiculous wage to get him in. I don't even want to talk about the amount he's on. It's absolutely painful. But this guy is incredible. He's only 26. He's got 17 acceleration, 18 agility, great balance, great fitness, great pace, great finishing, great dribbling, great crossing, I mean, everything about him is exactly what you want. And if that doesn't impress you enough, this guy can play on the left, he can play up top. For us, I feel like he's going to actually play up top, especially if Núñez is not obviously, getting the goals that we expect him to be getting. But for some reason, Diaz gets injured, we can turn to a world-class winger / forward player, whatever you want to say, in Rafael Leao. And the team looks really good right now. So it is going to be Alisson Frimpong actually gets in there based off the first 11. Upamecano, Konate, Robertson, Bellingham, Núñez, Rodrigo, Carvalho maintains his spot, Diaz and Rafael Leao. So right now, I want you guys firstly, if you are enjoying, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment without cheating, how many goals is Leao going to get in his first season? But let's go over to season number 4 and see how good he is. Well, Season 4 has been completed, guys, and it's a bit of an interesting one because it's actually the first time we've not won the Premier League. We did, however, win the Carabao Cup and the Community Shield, runners-up in the Champions League, and I feel, this is going to sound delusional, but I feel like we're very close to now developing a team where we are going to go back to dominating everything because Runners-up in the Champions League against Real Madrid. We'll see how close that final was. But, I mean, it could have actually been a really good season, despite the Premier League. The Premier League was 1 point difference. The Champions League was literally a final. It was very close to being a quadruple winning season, and we would have looked at things in a completely different light. So I'm not too annoyed, because I know I was going to have a season like this, or a couple of seasons as we have had, but this one was a really close season. Just a little bit of unluckiness coming in. 114 goals scored, 34 conceded. Cody Gakpo getting the most goals. How is he developing? Developing okay. Nothing like ridiculous, but quite a decent player. Good finishing, good pace on him. Obviously, he can play 4 positions, this guy. 5 if you include the, 4 positions. What about 5? He can play practically everywhere in mid, sort of the winger, centralised, right wing and up top. An incredible player. 38 goals in 38 games, alongside of 4 assists. It's going to be Carvalho. This guy is developing really nicely. He's a player I could have actually sort of loaned out, at one stage, but I backed him, I had faith in him, and he is developing into a really, really good player. So I'm happy that we've done that. Leao got the most assists, which tells me he was playing on the wing, which I'm a little bit annoyed about. But that's what happens. When you let the assistant take over, that is what happens. Going over to the squad then, we're going to look at some of the key sort of players. 39 from Gakpo, 30 from Nunes, not too bad. Obviously now we've got a lot of players getting involved. Carvalho with 25, a great season from him. Rodrigo with 20, 18 for Leao, Jota with 14. The assists, we've got 20 for Leao, Rodrigo with 19, 18 for Elliott, 17 for Carvalho, Bellingham with 13, again, having quite an average season. 12 for Diaz, and a very average season from Nunes, a 6.99. How many games did he play? 5 and 37 as a sub. That is an interesting stat line. It's an interesting stat line, I'm going to be real with you, but the standout player, to be honest, in this whole team is going to be Fabio Carvalho. An incredible player, 7.44 average match rating, 61 games played, 25 goals and only 17 assists, 17 assists. I mean, he's not really putting a foot wrong. He obviously got a new contract as well, I would like to point out. 250 grand a week this guy is now on. But when he's dropping performances like that, I simply can't afford to lose him. In terms of the actual schedule, the final we don't even really want to look at, because it is a very close final. A final which we didn't deserve to win. We did not deserve to win that. They dominated possession, better XG, better shots on target, more shots overall. They are by 1, to be fair. But again, when we are getting beaten, stats are not going to sit here and say we got robbed, because we just didn't. They have got an incredible team, by the way. Obviously, Courtois, Simakan, Militao, Rice, Mendy, Tchouaméni, Valverde, Camavinga, Vini, Vieira, and Tammy Abraham. How good is Tammy right now? Oh, he is an absolute machine. Fair play to him, a very, very good player. A bit unfortunate that we lost by a goal, but again, that's why I'm not too annoyed, because it was very, very close. The Carabao Cup we won 2-1 in, though, against Newcastle. A very, very, very close game. I mean, very unfortunate for Newcastle there in many, many aspects. Why is everyone playing a 5 at the back system? Have Newcastle got another negative manager? Who have they got? Zaghi. All the Italian coaches are going over. Honestly, what is going on? It's Italian takeover right now. But to be fair, the results are actually quite positive. They are quite positive, sort of from this point downwards. I mean, if you scroll down here, it's quite a big chunk of games without even drawing one. So we are very close, I think, to building the perfect team. We're bringing in a lot of top talent. It's almost like, how can this not work? The players we're bringing in are absolutely incredible. But going into what is going to be the last transfer window, we've got 95, I believe, or just a little bit more. We've actually got £112 million to spend. And I'm just going to try and finalise the pieces of the puzzle. Try and just see where we're weakest. Try and add a little bit of depth. And I'm hoping in that final season, we can win the Premier League, win the Champions League, and at least one other English trophy. So let's get into the 5th transfer window and see what we can do. So, the 5th transfer window, and unfortunately, what I didn't want to happen has happened. I'm going to be real. Thiago to Atletico Madrid is one of them ones. He was only worth about £6 million. He goes on the free to Atletico. Jordan Henderson actually also goes on the free. Again, a situation I didn't want to happen, but he wouldn't accept a new contract. No clubs wanted to pay for him, so he just let his contract expire, and he ends up at AC Ajaccio. I believe that's how you say that. Obviously, in 8th in the French league. Surprising that he didn't renew his contract, but it is what it is. Kelleher goes to Napoli, and we sort of then knew we had to do a couple of things. One other area I was adamant on strengthening was midfield again by bringing in Pedri from Barcelona, £108 million, and this guy is an absolute machine. 23 years of age, 4-star current ability, potential ability at 4.5. Incredible attributes. Just going to let you guys soak that in, because they are honestly incredible. And you've now got to realise you've got Jude Bellingham, Pedri, Carvalho. It's an absolute trio of Wonderkids, an insane midfield, and hopefully this can be the midfield which not only dominates England, but Europe. It should do. It's absolutely incredible. And we also bring in Capril from Genoa as a backup keeper, 24 years of age. Obviously, Alisson is getting a little bit older, and he did get injured last season for a little bit as well. So that is why I've brought in a slightly better backup goalkeeper in Capril. Fantastic attributes on him as well. Again, only 24 years of age. And the team is now looking like this. Alisson, Trent, Upamecano, Konate, Guardio, Bellingham, Pedri, Rodrigo, Carvalho, Diaz, and Leao. Now that team right there should win absolutely everything. It's an incredible team, and if the first team isn't good enough, the bench, Capril, Fabinho, Elliott, Nunes, Frimpong, Nunes, Gakpo, Tapsoba, Lopez, Jota, Robertson, Valesso, Gula, Nori, Ario. It's an incredible bench, and what we've done, which I'm really happy with, is we've added so much talent to this bench as well. They're not all old sort of veteran players, and the first team, I mean, the age is looking really good. The back line's a little bit older, but the midfield's ridiculously young. 23, 22, 23. It's a great set of players, and I'm hoping with these signings we can dominate Season 5. So let's go over to the end of Season 5 and see how well we done. Well, Season 5 did not go as well as what I wanted, but this just proves I'm not going to redo it and, you know, try and impress you guys. This is reality of football. Sometimes you put together a powerhouse team and you don't win exactly what you want. Again, it's such a similar story. We were one win away from winning the Premier League, which is very gutting. Runners up in the Champions League back-to-back. We did, however, win the Carabao Cup against Tottenham. A very poor display in the FA Cup. Rafael Leao had an insane season, by the way. 68 goals. Luis Diaz with 26 assists. 95 goals overall. 31 conceded. I mean, it wasn't even a bad season in terms of the stat lines, but just we bottled the final back-to-back, man. There's two Champions League trophies that were this close. Very frustrating to see, but it's one of them ones at the end of the day. It can happen to anyone. In terms of the actual squad, it is going to be Leao leading the goal scorer and Rodrigo having, I mean, that season's incredible from him. Carvalho, Diaz, I mean, yeah, a lot of contributions from all around, to be honest with you. It's not really been the issue. It's just we're getting so close. We're putting ourselves in great sort of opportunities. And, you know, we're losing by a goal to Chelsea in a game which, oh, wow. A game which, to be fair, they did do very well in. I'm going to see who their manager is, because that will be interesting to see. But overall, we're getting in scenarios which are so easy. And I feel like if I was personally playing, I might have been able to change it. It's going to be Pep Guardiola goes to Chelsea. Now, that is definitely a turnaround. That deserves a like, because I think Chelsea fans would literally kill to have Pep Guardiola at their team. But again, you know, so many draws coming in, so many frustrating results coming in, which I feel like if I was actually playing myself, possibly could have won it. But no, overall, I do feel like the rebuild's been quite good. We are going to talk about a little bit about the squad right now. So as you can see through the tactics, we finish off with this start on 11. Some really good players. I mean, if you look at the attributes alone, you can tell how good they are. Obviously, Robertson is slowly declining right now, but we can put Guardio in for a little bit better of a player, as it stands, that is, by the way. We have left him with a great team. I mean, the start 11 is completely world-class. The backups are ridiculous as well. Some world-class players, let alone on the bench. Some of the players which I was really excited for that let me down in the end, the likes of Nunes. I mean, the goals really did dry up from him. They really did. It's absolutely gutting. I wanted a bit more from Salah as well in some scenarios. Bellingham, overall, I feel like he possibly could have provided a little bit more. But again, he's a box-to-box. He isn't going to get ridiculous amounts of goals or assists. But I just wanted a little bit more from him. But I do feel like we have successfully transformed Liverpool, because this team now is a team fit for the next 5 to 10 years. We've also won a load of trophies: Champions League, FA Cups, Carabao Cups, Premier League, Community Shields. We've won absolutely everything. So in 5 years, I think Liverpool fans would take this, would definitely take the team that we're building. But let me know in the comments how successful you think this rebuild has been. And if you do enjoy the rebuilds, please do leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and also get commenting what rebuild you want to see next. And I'll see you boys in the next video.